Good morning, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my thoughts and contemplative time have all been about truth. And truth has a lot of different angles to look at it from. So I might make a series of videos about truth. But today's quotation that I came across, and I think we all love truth, right? But this struck me as a fantastic quotation to share with you. It's by Friedrich Nietzsche. And the quotation says, "Sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed." So again, sometimes people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions destroyed. Now, didn't I just say that we all love the truth, right? So we all like to hear truth, right? We're comfortable with hearing truth. And yet, this quotation, sometimes people don't want to hear the truth. And so I thought, what kind of examples could I share with you? And the simplest one that I could think of is we know that the sun rises at this time, sun sets at this time. And suddenly we understand that, wow, the sun rises at this time here, but it's actually setting in a different part of the world. And it's happening at the same time. So this is a truth, but it's relative truth, right? So my relative truth is the sun is rising here. Their relative truth is the sun is setting there. So of course, then all of my thought went into relative and absolute truth. And I thought I'd read this definition out to you. It says, to say that something is absolutely true means that it is independently true for all people, even if they do not know it or recognize it to be true. The opposite of absolute truth is relative truth. To say that something is relatively true means that it can be true for one person and not for another. So again, this sun rising here is true for me, but not for someone who's living on the other side of the world, right? So this is a relative truth. Yet, if we went outside of the Earth orbit and saw that this is how the Earth is moving, that would be absolute truth. And this is the sun is stable right here, right? So this is kind of interesting to learn. So this is the absolute truth versus the relative truth from our individual perspectives. And this happens with many things, right? So I also thought about children learning about Santa Claus. So for a long time, parents are feeding the idea of there is a Santa Claus and this is what arrived for you. And kids are so excited about seeing what Santa brought on Christmas Day, right? And then one day a parent might say, I need to let you know that there is no Santa Claus. And I can tell you, I've seen kids who have been a little bit disappointed to learn this absolute truth that, wow, there is no Santa Claus. It's been my parents. It was all relative. It was a relative truth that I'm getting something, but it's coming from my parents. So they're my Santa. So it's kind of true, but not true, right? So this whole idea, yet it feels a little bit more personal, right? So there's the idea of sunrise, sunset is happening, and that's kind of apart from our personal selves. So if we think about the child learning about Santa Claus, it's a little bit closer to home. Then we can think about a good friendship, right? So a good friendship, a friend says, oh, you know what? I want to get together with you for lunch on this day at this time. Is this good? You plan and so excited because this is a fantastic friend and you can't wait to see them. And then on the day of seeing them, they call you just before and say, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get together. I'm not feeling well. I have to stay in bed today. Okay, that's okay. Of course, you understand sickness and you'll plan it for another time. Of course, you're a little bit disappointed because you'd planned for this for quite some time. And later that day, you run into the same friend having lunch with another person at the time that you were supposed to meet them. And so this non-truth, I can tell you that it doesn't feel so good because now it's even closer to home, right? This is now, wow, this has affected me directly. And now we're growing up and feeling, can I trust a word of someone that they're speaking the truth to me? And this is how we start understanding relative truths and absolute truths. So I come back to absolute truth and what kind of things fall into absolute truth. So, one of the things that comes up strongly in my perspective is the feeling of compassion. There's nothing that someone has to say when you see someone helping another or feeling for another, right? That compassion is so clear that it hardly needs to be said. It's just so very evident, right? Even our own compassion, if we hear something about someone struggling in a different part of the world, or perhaps even in our own home or family, right? There's a compassion and it is felt, right? There's also love that's felt. Now, love can be based on a transactional love, right? Which is a relative love, that I would love you if you do this, and you might love me if I do that, or say that, or think that, or whatever way. So we can have a relative truth about love. And then there's a sense of love that is beyond relativity. It is this encompassing feeling. And I find that with more and more meditation, I can tell you that it is so peaceful to be in that space of love that I am receiving, certainly from this experience, and being able to share with others too. So then I thought I would leave you with one beautiful quotation, which I might elaborate on in a few videos. But for now, I will ask you to do this simple exercise. Think about one thing that you know is an absolute truth for you, and another that you know is a relative truth for you. Because you might love your job, and that might be a relative truth because you love it on Friday and really don't love it on Monday. So it could be as simple as that, right? So that's a relative truth. The other absolute truth might be you know when you feel peace in your heart, right? So that's an absolute truth. Like there's nothing that would take that away. That would be an absolute truth. So that's something to think about for 5 minutes after this video, I hope. And I want to leave you with this beautiful quotation. It's by Anthony de Mello, and this quotation says, "When the eye is unobstructed, the result is sight. When the ear is unobstructed, the result is hearing. When the mind is unobstructed, the result is truth. When the heart is unobstructed, the result is joy and love." And I love that because I definitely am feeling this and experiencing this. And I'm going to make sure that you know that it's not easy. I can easily tell you that the intention and the effort and the work that's, I believe, required or useful in getting to that space is ongoing and consistent. And I will tell you, it's very easy to fall into a space of not feeling this result of joy and love, or this result of truth and being easy with that truth. It's just an awareness, right? So those sorts of things, it's not easy, yet it is easy. It's such a paradox, I'll say. Yet it's a beautiful place to reach, that place of joy and love, because I can tell you the levels of joy and love that this heart feels today is way beyond what I could have imagined. And that you'll have to take my word for or try meditation. And until then, think about relative truth and absolute truth in your own life experience. I wish you a fabulous day ahead, and I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.